The return. Fight stories. Here we go. I don't even know what episode we're at. I feel it's like 4, but then there was that 2-parter, so maybe it's 5,
It's
whatever.
episode 5.
Episode 5, Fight Stories. John Moses, Tyler Morrison. Here we go, baby.
Oh yeah, this is another good one coming up. I love what we got.
I love Todd Screwy St. Louis. This is like one of my favorite episodes, dude, because the guy just like top 3. Like the guy just lays it out.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He just lays it all out on the line, dude. You know, the fights and everything after.
Yeah, and he's got his kids rifling him beer. He's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Dude, that's it. There's so many moments where I was like, watching it to edit it, and I was just laughing because his like kids walking by, his kids plunked down on the couch.
Yeah, just a gem. And,
beauty, dude. I love the fact that he was playing down in Texas in the WPHL.
Mm-hmm.
That is a league that to me is just fascinating in and of itself, because it started off as a 6-team league in Texas. You don't think about Texas to have its own semi-pro professional hockey league,
Mm-hmm.
and that crowd is going to love fights. They are going to love them.
That's what they came for.
Right. Dude, that's right. I'm sure they're happy to see some guys bag some goals too. And, it's a great game, but I mean, they were there to see guys, get tuned up. So I think there is I would love to do an episode just on the WPHL, because there's not a ton of footage from that league.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just love to hear some behind the scenes stories, dude. That whole league is a handsome brother league,
Yeah, and if you're like listening to this and you played in that league, don't be afraid to hit us up, because we certainly would love to have you talk about your experience in that.
Oh, for sure.
So you just came out of the woods. You feeling better or what?
Yeah, so last episode, I don't know if you could hear it in my voice, but the Moses family had contracted COVID. It had a 10-year-old, or sorry, a 10-person 6-year-old birthday party. Turned out to be a super spreader. I want to rock. So we were a little messed up. The kid was fine.
Good.
Mary was, sniffle, upset for like 2 nights. I was pretty good. And then Julia actually took it, probably the worst. Or at least, that's what she let on. That would have been a smart move. Like, that's probably always a smart move, is to pretend like you're the sicker one so that you don't got to do shit.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what I was gonna say. You want your wife to be the less sick one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you just want to be laid up. I should have faked it. Is what I should have did. You know what I mean? Like, pretend like I can't move. Oh.
Yeah. If your wife is sick, you're doing a lot of heavy lifting, because she's
dude,
shit and check around there.
That's exactly what happened. For 2 days, I was sick, but also taking care of the household when I should have been fucking laid up watching old James Bond movies. So anyway, so we're looking good, just in time from quarantine to the stage. I know we got some Jersey and New York folks, so I am at Uncle Vinny's today. Well, the episode releases today, but it's Saturday, so Tuesday through Thursday this week. And I got those antibodies. Who wants them? Who wants them? You just and I spit when I talk too, so those things will just be spraying out all show. You got a clip? I like checking out these clips.
Yeah. So for our listeners, John hasn't seen as many hockey fights as you have probably, and he's seen a bunch, but
about half of our listeners.
Yeah, the classics. Though
there's some people in New York who listen to this podcast and don't even know how to skate. So
there's a classic one, and you can check it out. It's John Wensink. Yeah,
but John Wensink challenges the mini bench is what you want to type in.
And we'll put it in the description.
All right.
We'll link to it. So John's going to watch this for the first time. So you got O'Reilly doing a little spinorama.
Oh, yeah.
With Jensen.
Oh, man.
And then he gets that left uncorked.
Oh, boy.
Just ragdolling Jensen.
Oh, just slamming him.
Yeah, spanked him like a bad kid in Kmart.
Dude, those rights were flying fast and furious, dude.
Well, he's throwing lefty. Yeah.
Oh, is that what? No, it's well. Oh, okay.
And then you got Wensink's just full mount.
Oh yeah.
Full mount. Buddy's trying so hard to get away from him.
Oh, he's so mad, dude. The guy who was getting him in the face is so furious.
Yeah.
He's trying to pull him by his skate.
Oh yeah. Look at just a circus out there. This is classic 70s Bruins. Then you got Wensink comes right over, just taunts the entire bench.
Yeah. Go home.
Yeah. Not one taker.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you'd want to take him on.
Could you jump the bench? I mean,
you have to. You have to. How does someone not jump the bench there? I know Wensink was tough, but it's insane that no one went after him. Just even if you get tuned up, you have your pride.
Right.
That was embarrassing.
Yeah, and those were the days where you could. It's not like you're getting expelled from the league forever. You just pop off.
I just don't understand that. That's a legendary move by Wensink, though. That's iconic.
Yeah.
That's an iconic Bruins moment.
That's piss and vinegar right there.
Yeah, miss those days. Could you imagine that happening now?
Yeah. That was a home game too, right?
Yeah. I think so. If they're wearing the white, the Bruins, the Boston Garden would have been rocking.
Everybody looked like Ogie Oglethorpe back then too. Everybody just had the giant weight pieces, you know. It was either mullet or just puffed out fro.
Combs his hair with steel wool.
Yeah. O'Reilly tuning him up is quite the show before that even happens.
Well, Terry O'Reilly is one of the greatest Boston Bruin fighters of all time. He was a good player too, but he kind of started out where he wasn't the greatest skater, and he became a 90-point guy in the league. Wow. Pretty sure he got 90 points one season, and then became the captain. He was the heart and soul of that team. Funny, but he would always take on the toughest guy from the other team. So even though you had guys like John Wensink, who is deemed more an enforcer, or Stan Jonathan, he was the guy who always took it upon himself to go against the toughest guy on the other team. He wanted that, their toughest guy.
Whenever I watch those guys from back in the day, for me as an old Leafs fan, I joke that Dave Anderchek couldn't skate backwards. This guy's a 500 goal scorer and he couldn't skate backwards. And then I look at some of these guys back in the 70s and I'm like, dude, I could have played, even though I couldn't have, because I don't have that athletic prowess. They just look so sloppy as skaters and handlers.
It's the skates, though. Look at the skates that they have.
Right. The skates.
You know what I mean? Prorate them into now, and they have all the modern training, all the amazing equipment and sticks.
The other thing is, I watched the old Bruins play some local police guys when I was living in Western Mass, and these guys were 70 years old and flying out there like that. They're just people who have skated every day of their lives for 50 or 60 years. And they looked incredible. But when I watch those games, they still look terrible. Yeah. But when I watch Terry O'Reilly fight right there, there is nothing that looks terrible about that. That translates to today's fighting game, or even the fighting game of 10 years ago, instantaneously, The
only thing with Terry O'Reilly is he had balance issues. So if his balance was better, he wouldn't have had he would have won a lot more fights. I mean, he won a lot of fights, but the ones that he did lose, it was usually because of a balance issue. So the modern day enforcers really do have that. Their balance is amazing. And if you had bad balance, in the modern era. Those guys were so strong that they ragdoll you. But of course, you have to think. But you do have to think that if O'Reilly played in the modern era, he'd have the same advantages.
Right. Or if he had skates with the least bit of ankle protection.
That's right. That's right.
Support with ankle support, maybe he wouldn't be bending, you know.
Oh, exactly. But yeah, that guy, I think, you put him in any era, and he's the type of winner that would evolve into, because his will to win transcends anything that's stopping him in the game.
And you can never make those types of like jumps anyway, because he would have been learning as a child the way these guys are coached and everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
If you're any good at this game, you've got a personal trainer by the time you're 14 now, you know? You're not smoking packs a day on the bench.
Yeah, I'd say Terry O'Reilly's one of my favorite players that I've ever seen footage of. He's just, everything that he represented is what was great about hockey. And
right. You got one of his jerseys hanging in the
I do. I got one up there.
Nice.
Nice. Behind the little magic curtain. I got a signed Terry O'Reilly framed jersey.
You're not in the garage today.
No, it's cold as hell.
All right, let's jump into this episode with wait. Before we do that, let's a big shout out to the sponsor, this season's sponsor, Uncle Ronnie's Tea Bag. All of the Fight Stories merchandise, old logo, new logo, and the stuff that we got cooking up, that we'll be able to start pushing soon. Some guests from this season is going to be available at Uncle Ronnie's Tea Bag. So UncleRonnie'sTeabag.com. Ronnie's RONNIES. I think you know how to figure out everything else. Uncle Ronnie's.
I'll put it on the screen. Some of these guys, they'll never figure that
out. Yeah, we love you. We love you. And your CTE. All right, so check out Uncle Ronnie's Tea Bag to get all your Fight Story stuff. Let's jump into this episode. Todd Screwy St. Louis. Love you.
Okay, is it better?
That's better.
And I'm a single dad of 4 kids, so I got kids coming in and out the house, and they're being assholes.
Oh, that's okay, man.
Beauty.
I was about to whip my kids before I came out to the garage.
That's what I mean. I told them if I click, give me beer.
That's the best setup you can have.
Man, let's just get right into it, dude. That's got to be in the beginning.
Hell yeah!
All right, man. Welcome to another episode of Fight Stories. I'm John Moses and my good buddy Tyler Morrison up in Canada. I'm fucking pumped for this episode, man. I'm pumped for this episode. We're talking with Todd Screwy St. Louis, but maybe the best nickname I've heard for a hockey player. Like, I love that nickname, dude.
Yeah. It just lets everyone know you're a wild card, right?
Yeah.
Did that come along early?
That came along early. It was my first year in Belleville. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Corey Eisen. Corey Eisen was a veteran for the Belleville Bulls. And during, it was pretty wild back in those days, like the initiations, the hazing, and we didn't give a shit about it back in those days.
Yeah.
Like, you're being a part of a organization, a club, a team, a family. And I'm not even going to get into what they did to us.
Oh, fuck. I was hoping you were going to.
Like, shit, I was naked the whole damn time.
Yeah.
Like 20 degrees outside. But it really happened. The veterans were like, they took their belts off and they were hitting us. And I stood in front of all the rookies, and I was just taking belts to the face, like belt buckles, and I was bleeding. And I was like, hell, hit me more. And they were hitting me with that shit. And Corey Eisen, my good friend, one of my guys, he took me under his wing and like made me feel part of the team, kind of deal. And he's like, man, this kid is screwy. And that name stuck to me.
Just happened to rhyme.
Even to this day, my friend, everybody's called me Screwy. Every team I played for called me Screwy Louie. So it was kind of neat, you know.
Yeah.
You know, 20 degrees, like butt ass naked, like doing push-ups and beers. Your dick's going into the beer. So it's, you know, I'm pretty sure I was still a virgin when my first year of junior.
Yeah.
And, I'm doing push-ups, so, and when you're done your push-ups, you got to drink the beer. I was like, damn it. You know, it's kind of shit you do, but it, you know, it made you feel part of the team. Yeah. I don't understand, you know, you get guys like, oh, I got hazed, I got peed on, I got whatever, like shit, you know. You know what, next year you'll do it to other guys, and it's all good. Yeah, I never understood anything with that shit because it made you feel part of it. It's like, you know how, like, Gretzky was, you know, passed on that. You remember seeing that that commercial with Gretzky, and there was like Lemieux, and there was Lindros, there was Jagger. I can't remember who else, and they're all on the pond, and they're passing the torch on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was the Canadian, you know, thing, and that's how I felt. You know, like you're being passed the torch. I was like, I'll be you know, I might carry your bags in this year, but the rookies following year, they'll be carrying my bags into the ring.
Yeah,
right.
And we're just like a passage of right away, you know.
A rite of passage, yeah. And plus, you got to be just so excited to be there, right? I mean, and everybody knows what the fucking OHL is when you're a kid, you know.
Yeah.
And growing up in Canada,
I would have done anything, and I did anything. You know, I wasn't the greatest player, but I worked my ass off, like, to get where I did, and, you know, no one thought I'd be playing in OHL, like, in my minor. I played for Windsor AAA. I played with Jovanovski, and I grew up with him, and everybody, it was Jovanovski, Tim Finley, Ryan Pollock, and then there was me on the very back side, and those guys went on playing OHL, and I snuck in the back way, you know, just fighting.
Right.
Well, I played for Leonard Navy.
You play for Wellington Dukes, right? In the kind of tier 2 junior A. So you're playing pretty good hockey still, but it's hard to go from that to get into the OHL because you either get drafted kind of into the OHL early. Is that not correct? And then once you're in that tier 2 league, it's kind of hard to break into the OHL unless you're putting up some.
And that's the thing. There, you know, I didn't make it my first year. And there was a bunch was sent down, like Sean Brown. He was a first rounder to Boston, and we both got sent down that year. But he got called up more, and there were several other players that got sent down, you know, from Belleville to play for Wellington. And the following year, I think I was the only one from that previous draft year that made the team that year, besides me and Sean Brown. But he was up there more than I was the first year.
Right.
And he was a first rounder to Boston. And had a good NHL career.
Yeah.
You know, and that year, Matt Cook was in there playing for Wellington.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody knows Matt Cook, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like a dirty little shit. But you know what? He's a good teammate. And I enjoyed being around him, you know. You want guys on your team like that, but you hate playing against them.
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
Exactly.
You know, and I kind of like was that same kind of guy. And I'd get in your face, I'd cross-check in the mouth. I didn't give a shit, you know what I mean? If it got me some playing time. Yes. You know,
cross-checking the mouth, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, fans got to have someone to hate, too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the style of play we played back in those days. You know, nowadays, you can't cross-check a guy in the back of the head, you know, clearing the net.
Right.
You know, you get a 10-game suspension for it. But, hell, I'd break a guy's face. And, you know, nothing. You know, we're just clearing the net, trying not to, you know, get a last goal scored on us in the last minute kind of deal.
In Belleville, they have like a pretty good history of tough hockey with that organization. You know, they had before you, Crowder was playing there. They really do appreciate, I think, the tough hockey. It's kind of like a farming area. It's a city, but there's a lot of farms around it. They like the rough and tumble style. Did you feel like when you're playing there that they treated you kind of like a rock star in that town when you're, you know, the guys?
I kind of felt like, you know, I remember the last game I played in Belleville. It was a playoff game, and people were. I felt like it was almost like a Rudy movie, and they were chanting "Screwy, Screwy, Screwy," and I'm looking at Larry Mavity, and I was like, "Put me in." He's like shaking his because he knows what I'm going to go do. I'm just going to go fight. You know, I didn't get a lot of opportunities to play in Belleville, but when I was out there, I fought.
Yeah.
You know, you watch a lot of like. There's not a lot of like footage of me back in Belleville, but you could hear Mavity yelling, "Todd, Todd," because he knew I was chasing the guy down about the fight. and I think that's why I made that team. You know, I squared up in training camp against Corey Eisen, and he was one. They're known tough guys, and I just went down and fought him. Broke my nose that fight. And I came off the ice, and the trainer was looking at me, and Mavity was standing there, and he's like, how are you feeling? I was like, I love this shit. I'm fucking ready to do more. You know, and I think me being aggressive like that, you know, trying to change my game, you know, because back in those days, either you're a player or you had to work your ass off to get to there, and maybe you had to fight, drop the gloves. And I chose to drop the gloves to make the teams because I felt like that's how I was going to make the team.
Right.
You know.
And I watched some of your OHL fights. Like, you're really like fluid with switching hands at a young age. Like, you know, that's something that takes a while to develop. That seemed like it was pretty natural to you. You're a wiry guy, so you could you know, get a few punches off on these other guys and kind of overwhelm them. It was you had a good style for fighting, like at that age too.
Well,
so it wasn't.
I appreciate, you know, you're 16, 17, 18, you know, trying to make a name for yourself. And I didn't play a whole lot, so I had to do something. So when you're playing for a guy like Larry Mavity, if you like cough up a puck, you won't see another shift. So you know what I did? I went out there and just fought. I couldn't fuck up fighting. You know what I mean?
Right.
At least I'm trying to do nice things. You know what I mean? And so I kind of like got that role when I played in Belleville. I wasn't a big guy, you know, 6'1", 180, 190 pounds.
Yep.
I was a lightweight, but I'd fight guys like Eric Bolton, Freddie Oduya, Matt Johnson. You know, any heavyweight that on the other team, I'd fight, you know. Like Sean Thornton. I fought all the boys. And, that's what I needed to do to, you know, keep my, you know, spot on the team. And I felt like
how'd you do? How'd you do against those guys?
Me and Thornton went toe to toe and had a really good fight. And we left the ice, and Thornton was like, "Hey man, nice fight, thank you." You know, he's thanking me about the fight.
Yeah.
I was like, he was a rookie, you know what I mean? And I was like second-year player, and I felt like, man, the kid likes me, you know what I mean? But we had a really good fight, and I hurt my hand really bad that fight. I couldn't even hold a hockey stick after that fight.
Yeah.
And after that fight, I got traded to London. But like, there's guys like Matt Johnson.
He's with Peterborough, right?
Yeah, he was in Peterborough, and literally, well, Thornton was in Peterborough at the time when I fought him too. That was the year before. But Matt Johnson, or year after. But Matt Johnson literally ended up on top of me, straddling his knees over me, beating me, like literally just throwing the punches. And he split my fucking nose right here. And I had to get stitches in my nostril because he literally ripped my nostril off. You can't freeze a nostril.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there in the trainer, you know, like area in Quinty, whatever it was called back in, I don't remember what the
Quincy West.
I don't know what it was, but
David Frost House.
No, do what?
David Frost House.
I have no clue.
You get the reference? Okay.
Should be the Doc Bond. I don't know who David Frost is.
Google that after.
I will.
He's the guy that Mike Danton, a legend. Sorry, he's the guy that Mike Danton allegedly hired a hitman to kill.
Yeah. But I had my trainer sticking me with a needle right here while Doc Bond was stitching my nose up. So he was poking me with a needle because they couldn't freeze it because it's cartilage in your nose. You know what I mean? Between your nose and your face, they can't freeze that. And they put like 3 stitches and stitched my nostril off after Matt Johnson whooped my ass.
That's vicious.
And you're how old when this is happening? 18?
I was 17, maybe.
Dude, you're 17, your
probably.
nose is hanging off your face, and you got some team doctor just... What's going through the team doctor's head? Like, what the fuck? I'm sewing this kid's nose back on his face. What the fuck is going on?
He owned the team, so it was all good.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, hey, putting seats in, you know.
Yeah.
Was Johnson the heavyweight?
I remember playing in a...
Sorry, was Johnson the heavyweight champ of the... Was Johnson the heavyweight champ of the league at the time?
Yeah. I think so. He was known. I remember sitting on the bench before I fought him, and there, you know, a bunch of sports liners never got played much. And I'm looking at these guys. I'm like, I'm gonna fight them. They're like, no, you're not. You're fucking nuts. I was like, as soon as I get out there, I'm jumping him. And I jumped him, and he got better than me. But yeah, I went out there and did it. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
man.
What were the fucking refs doing while he's fucking plowing your fucking face like that?
I don't know, because I really don't remember. I just remember him sitting on top of me, like he's straddling me, like he's fucking me, and he literally just fucked me. Boom, boom, boom.
Maybe because you jumped him, the refs let it go a little bit longer.
Oh
yeah,
fuck,
that's probably why.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
man, that's wicked.
That was time. That was
like
time.
Ed Norton in Fight Club.
Yeah. Right, you know, what stays on ice, happens on ice, stays on ice kind of deal, you know.
Right. So this is going down.
It was part of the game.
Right. So this is going down. Where are your folks in all this, or you know, like?
That's kind of a touchy subject, you know. My mom.
Okay. Well,
my dad was around my junior years.
Okay.
And when I got traded back to Windsor, my final year, I was 19.
Yeah.
And he died like 2 weeks after the playoffs were done.
Fuck yeah.
Oh damn.
So it was kind of like a meant to be kind of thing. Me getting traded from London to Windsor, and I got to
go back home
the last month and a half of his life with him. You know what I mean? So it was almost like a godsend kind of deal.
But before that, you know, you're 17 getting your fucking nose beat off your face.
Yeah.
What's he saying?
My dad would drive down to Belleville like every weekend, go to London every weekend when I played.
Nice.
But it was a good thing, you know.
Yeah, of course. But after that game, is he like, man, I don't know if you should be doing this, you know? Or is he like, hey, fuck, part of the game, bud?
No, fuck no. You know, my dad, like, gave me a card when I made Belleville. You know, he was real proud of me, like, you know, like parents do, give me a card. And he gave me this little card that said, it was called the Winner's Creed. If you guys ever look it up, just go on that internet, and it's called the Winner's Creed. It's about being positive and you know, achieving your goals. Mm-hmm. It's a poem. And at the end, in the card, after, you know, besides the card he gave me, and he said, don't be silly. Don't wrap your willy. You know, like, that was our sex talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know you're going to get some puck bunnies. Wrap that shit up. You know?
Yeah.
4 kids later.
Right. 4 kids later. And, yeah.
That's right. So.
Yeah, I want to get into my when I play pro. Because
was he worried the nickname was for another reason?
No, and a lot of people ask me that. It's like, what's screwy mean? And I was like, it's nothing sexual. It's just because I had a screw loose. Exactly.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. You know, your first year pro. Where are you? How old are you?
First year pro. I was 21. I showed up in Lake Charles, Louisiana, in the second year of the WPHL. I had an invite to go play for them, and got off the plane, still in my winter jacket, and I got off the plane in Houston, and it was like 100 degrees and 100% humidity. I was like, damn it. you know, because you're leaving October in Canada.
So is that part of Louisiana right beside Texas?
Yes, it's not far.
Right,
you know?
right.
And I played there. I lived there for about a month and a half before the season, you know. They invited me down early, you know. And that was a first-year club. And played a couple games. I got a hip flexor. Graham Townsend, I don't know if you know Graham Townsend. He was the assistant coach.
Yep.
Played NHL, the Boston Bruins. I think Ottawa Senators maybe as well. And, you know, later like the following year, we were scrumming in the corner. He's like, man, I wish I would never released you. You know, I had a couple of bad games, you know, never fought. And he's like, I regret getting rid of you. And I was like, I appreciate you. And so I shoved his head in fucking boards. You know what I mean? I was like, thank you. Fuck you.
Wait. He's the assistant coach and he's playing?
Yeah.
Player coach.
In the Western Professional Hockey League, you had player assistants.
Oh, I love it, dude.
Players, and they were assistant coaches.
Oh, fucking cool,
dude. Dennis Marouk was a 60-goal scorer in the NHL, played for Washington.
Yep.
Played for London Knights. And he was my coach that year, like with Lake Charles.
Yeah.
And you know how he cut me? We were at a bar that night. He's like, sorry. And he like looked at me. He's like, sorry, it didn't work out. And he cheers me with a beer. I was like, okay, so where am I going now? And so, but I got picked up by Fort Worth Brahmas.
Okay, but he cut you. He didn't trade you. He just cut you.
Yeah, he cut me, but I got picked up like a couple days later.
Yeah.
He's
Did
like,
he pay for your
that's
tab?
How he told me. He's like, cheers, you're a good kid, but cheers, I gotta let you go.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, let's get fucked up tonight. You know?
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's old school.
Those are big
shit,
circumstances.
You know?
So
that's old school.
what are these crowds looking like, right? Because in my mind, you know, Texas probably isn't too fucking familiar with the game, right? Like some of these crowds. So is it like when the fights are like they're there for the fucking hits and the fights?
That's how it was, you know, back in those days. I bet you there's 4 or 5 fights a game, you know, easily. Wow. Like a lot of people don't see a lot of footage of the WPHL.
Fuck, man.
Like they remember that Quebec League, you know.
Yeah,
LNH. It was no different than that Quebec League, but there was more talent.
Yeah.
And I believe that. You know.
In the WPHL.
It depends where you went.
Who are you running into there?
Some in what?
In the WPHL, who are some of the guys you're running into and dropping the gloves with?
Sean Legault, like let me think. You know, Mike Segura, like no, he played in the CHL. Man, I can't even think right now. You had Darren Kimball, you had Rushton, you know, he played in the Quebec League. Marty Melichuk.
Yeah, he was on your team a couple
guys
times.
In that league. And he was my line mate.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, he was a beast. Man, I can't think of names right now. You put him on a spot like that.
That's all right. When you're playing with Marty Melanchuk, what's it like riding shotgun with a guy like that? Because he's putting up big numbers, right? Are you guys kind of competing over who gets who, or are you guys just like before the game, like I got this guy?
That's the thing, you know. That's the thing. We played on the same line. You know, we were defensemen, but coach always put us on forward on opposite wings, and we just dump and chase and beat up guys, you know, kind of deal. And I wasn't a big guy when I played pro. I was maybe 210, you know, and he was 250, just pure fucking solid muscle. Like it was scary to see him with his shirt off.
Was he a stocky guy, like not tall, but was he tall?
He was 6'4", I think, 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah.
He was a monster.
You know, he's a beast and mean. And you know, it was fun having him on the line with me. Obviously, you know, because he gave me room, you know, and and obviously at the times I gave him a little room because I was that little instigator that would fucking stick you in the face and fucking fight you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I backed up what I did. I'd stick you in the face, crotch check you in the face, back of the head.
That's the worst. The fucking guy that sticks you and then beats you up. There's no fucking winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck it. If I'm going to fucking play dirty, I'm going to fight. I'm going to stand up for myself. And Marty was the same way. But, there was times that he backed me up and I backed him up and whoever got to the fight first kind of deal. And there's a lot of pictures I have. I have like pictures and there's always me and Marty in a scrum somewhere.
Right.
Either him, in it, me behind it, or
vice
me
versa.
in it, him behind it kind of deal.
So let me ask you a question.
He was a fun guy to play with.
How many teams are in the league?
At the time,
yeah,
there was 12 or 13 teams.
And how many games in a season?
WPHL.
How many games in a season?
I think 67 or something in there.
So you're playing each of these teams, what, fucking 4 or 5 times a piece?
Fucking, if not more. You know what I mean?
Right. 5 times. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you gotta be. You're running. You two guys are running down into the raising fucking hell. In the corners in the offensive zone. You're playing these guys in another 3 weeks. Are there guys like these guys either must be fucking just must despise you guys, or you're running up against guys who you're just fighting all the time?
That's the thing. You get on the fucking ice and they might have called up or found some guy from a different league, and next thing you know, I'd be like, doing warm-ups and some guy's like doing this to me. I'm like, the fuck is this motherfucker? I was like, okay, I'm fighting, you know what I mean? But
it's like Roadhouse on ice every night.
Like, you're fucking dead, Yeah.
Like,
whatever.
Roadhouse
you get out there and you fucking do your job.
So
that's part of fucking minor league hockey, you know what I mean?
You got the lazy haircut for the Roadhouse on ice.
Right, yeah.
So
I click my skate, my fucking blade comes out, you know what I mean?
And listen, don't feel free to not answer this question and be like, I'm not fucking talking about it or whatever. But I'm just like the mentality of the whole thing. Like, you're not making a ton of money, but you're making enough money doing this shit, right?
Yeah.
Like from a semi-pro perspective, like it beats being the manager at Home Depot, right?
Well, fuck. It depends. The WPHL played a little better than the East Coast League, I think.
Okay.
And we had affiliates. When I played in Arkansas, we were affiliated with like Pittsburgh Penguins.
Okay.
Yes. So if you have like a 2-way contract, it's a little bit different than.
Yeah, but there wasn't a lot of us. But every now and then, we were affiliated with Kansas, and Kansas was affiliated with fucking Pittsburgh.
Right.
So the only guys that ever got called up was the goalies usually.
Yeah.
Right.
And we had a good team. Our first year in Arkansas. We had Kimball, we had Ryan Pollock, we had Tim Finley, we had Darren Sushi. He was a goalie, and man, I can't remember 2 other goalies. But anyways, you're on average you're making $500-600 a week. Your room and board for free.
Yeah.
And you eat everywhere for free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there was guys on the team making $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 a week.
It's like, honest to God, it's like a comedy life, but you're not fucking punching people in the head 3 nights a week,
Right. There's guys like me on the lower end just punching pussy all night long. I'd be leaving like the apartment.
Dude, that's worth an additional $600 a week right there, dude. Whatever you're losing in wage, you're making up for it in the hotel room perks.
I get paid on Fridays, and they'd be like, it's bar time, and I spend that $600 right that fucking night.
Hey, I'm eating for free this week.
That was life of my league hockey, man.
Bumming smokes. Come on. Kimball, give me a smoke.
Right? Give me a dark. No.
Give me a dark. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, be smoking fucking Marlboros and wishing they were players, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's it like playing with Darren Kimball when you get to play on a team with a guy like that who's really
that was the amazing thing about Kimball. Like he was a fighter in the NHL, but he come down to playing the lower leagues. That man had good hands. He could sauce passes to you in practice, and he was You could tell he was a fighter, but he was talented. Yeah. And guys are like that play in NHL that just fight. You don't think they're that talented, but he was talented. He was one of the most talented players I've played with, and level-headed, and cared for his teammates, and it was amazing. Everywhere we went, he knew somebody. I was like, "You're fucking Arkansas," but guys know him. Like we had ex-wrestlers come visit him, and it was crazy because I think he's big in the wrestling for some reason.
Oh, really? He never talked to us about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he knew the Four Horsemen, and they'd come hang out with us at the bars and shit like that.
Oh, that's cool.
I can't remember the names.
Did Ric Flair come hang out?
Not Ric Flair, but he knew wrestlers. And
yeah. So the Four Horsemen. What was that? That was Sting?
No. It was Ric Flair.
This is like older ECW shit, I think.
Yeah, I think that's like Sting.
Four Horsemen is Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson, and
Arn. Who's the second guy you said?
Arn Anderson.
I think that was one of the guys we used to hang out with.
He's one of the Four Horsemen for sure. And he's from that area, I think, from the South.
Yeah, and that sounds familiar. And we'd be at the bar. It's called. I can't remember what I was suspended. He was like, I don't know why he was at, didn't make the road trip. But me and him be hanging out at the bar, and all these professional wrestlers were there, and then we just be hanging out and having a good time. And he was just always really chill.
Yeah.
And he just was a really fun guy to hang out with, and he was just like calm. Yeah. He was never crazy. I've never seen him have a temper.
Huh. He
was just a really cool guy to be around. It was a privilege to play with that guy. It's like shit. He's a legend. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So those wrestling guys, you got a bunch of people coming, hanging out. Do any of these guys ever, like Kimball's cool, but are those guys all being cool, or are they getting a little wild?
No, they're all cool. Right. Well, you talking about the wrestlers and shit?
Yeah.
No, they're all cool.
Right. They're probably so fucking big and imposing.
Me being 22, 23, Kimball's like, screw it, fucking settle down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was fucking off my rocker, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
They didn't call me screwed for nothing. I was fucking off the wall bouncing here and there,
So that leads me to the next question. You're running around in Texas, 22, chugging $600 worth of brewing a night. You got to be getting into some altercations.
It didn't. I was more in. I've been in handcuffs a few times.
Okay.
In Amarillo when I played for Amarillo.
Yeah.
Yeah, just being stupid, getting fights. I dated a stripper back when I played in Amarillo. I knocked up a stripper, and.
Which one of your boys? Bring the stripper boy out.
Yeah, I'm not going to say what I've done, but I was in the middle of fucking. I don't know. I seen my. The girl from that time, the stripper, come with, some sugar daddies.
Yeah.
And as soon as I walked in, I just fucking snapped and fucking lost my noodle. And yeah, let's just say he was biting my ankles by the end of it. I put the fist on him.
Oh,
and I ended up in the fucking cop car. And the fucking cops know who I was, and they're like, man, you got to keep this on the ice and fucking stay off it.
Oh, wow. So the cops know that you're like a little bit of a local celeb.
Yeah. And they're like, you got to stay all this shit, And,
so what'd they do? Did they arrest you or they just take you home? Let you off the charges?
The guy never pressed charges, so he released me, so it was one of those deals. I just remember a big old gold necklace, and this motherfucker, I just grabbed him, and I fucking grabbed that necklace, and I fucking chucked it in the crowd. I just seen a fucking big brawl.
Yeah, dude.
Everybody trying to get the fucking gold necklace. I was like,
yeah,
don't come in here fucking with me.
I used to be a host of an amateur night at a strip club. I was there for like 6 years.
Yeah.
And one time Odell Beckham Jr. came in, and he was so fucking drunk, his people had to carry him out. And then one of them came back and knocked on the door, and they were like, hey, man, he lost a $10,000 ring. and they all ask the strippers, "Anybody find a ring?" They're like, "No ring, no ring." Like, you think those chicks are fucking turning that ring up? You know what I mean? Yeah. They dove on that medallion, dude. That thing is gone. It was probably ripped apart.
Her asshole fucking walking out because it's up her ass.
That's right.
The hawk shop already.
Why you walk funny? I'm constipated tonight.
Yeah, I stretched the muscle. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm doing the split stretch one.
So, where are we at? You're like, you're year 3 or year 4. I'm assuming like you're probably a guy that filled out late. Right? Like, what are you like? By the time you were done playing, what were you, like 220, 225?
220, 225, yeah.
Yeah. So
you don't even know what I mean now. A couple years ago I was 260. Now I'm 240. I've lost a few weight. A few pounds. And I went back and played. I played senior A last year in a team in Fort Worth, Dallas area.
Oh, I know.
Barracudas.
I saw the post on Facebook.
I'm trying to play against a fucking bunch of 20-year-olds, and
how's that working?
The game has changed so much.
Yeah.
And I'm running around there trying to play like I used to, and none of these guys will have nothing to do with me, and I just want to fight.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm begging, and they like, fuck that. I got golf fucking at 8:00 in the morning, kind of deal.
But is this like a semi-pro league that you were playing in that you went back into?
Yes, last year. I started last year.
Yeah. Because I saw your post on Facebook where you're like, "Fuck it, I'm fighting tonight," and I'm like, I thought you were going into like a men's league tournament.
Tyler was telling me about that. No. Can you imagine this guy terrorizing a men's league?
I see the video of this guy
just terrorizing men's league in Amarillo. But yeah.
Oh god.
There's guys. There's guys that I play in the men's league in Amarillo, and there's guys that know who I am, and there's guys that like don't know who the fuck I am. And they're always telling, stay away from fucking Screwy. Stay away from Screwy.
Yeah.
And they fuck with me. And I fucking snap, and I end up getting fucking suspended. You have that mentality from when you played. And if guys are going to fucking hack you and whack you, I'm going to fucking two-hand them across the face. I don't give shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? If they're going to play like that with me, I'm going to fucking do what I can to fucking let them know, like, don't fuck with me.
That's what I was going to say. They go into the corners because I know, when I'm playing men's league, it's a matter of, it doesn't matter what my intentions are going in there. 10 minutes into the game, my elbows are up here, dude. It's just a force of habit. I'm going into the corner. I'm playing hard. I'm digging. So guys are doing that, and you're just like, that's it, buddy. Time to meet the Reaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's normal. That's normal. You know what I mean? If you're protecting yourself, that's normal.
Yeah.
And I don't wear a lot of equipment. I don't wear shoulder pads. I don't wear a cuff.
Yeah.
I wear like these tiny little like old school Reebok like coverall, whatever you fucking call them, pants.
Yeah.
I wear little as possible for equipment. And they're like, look at this motherfucker. And they think I'm a scrub, you know what I mean? I was like, I might be 44.
Your equipment's probably 15 years old, right?
Yeah.
What was I going to say? So, for the men's league, because I played a little bit in New York, it's like, dude, you fight one time, you're done for the season. In Texas, they're like, eh.
Yeah. That's same way here. I remember one time some guy was chirping me all game, and he cut across the blue line. And I was like, this dumb motherfucker, he chirping everybody. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go skate into him. I didn't proceed. I just stood there waiting for him, and I still laid him out. He was snoring for 10 minutes.
Wow.
I'm not joking. And I got suspended for a few games for that, but I was like, if you're going to chirp my team, you're going to chirp guys on my team, I'm going to make a statement. And, that's what I did back in the day. And it's like, you don't fuck my teammates.
Dude, that's so funny. But that's probably I don't know what the level of competition in there, but you say from Kimball coming down is probably similar from you going down into that men's league. It's like, dude, this guy running into you is running into
even worse. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But we we got 4 teams in men's league. It's 8. We got like 4 teams in A, and I think 8 teams in B. And the A teams, we got like 2 pros per team. So there's 8 of us.
Okay.
And then there's a bunch of like guys that grew up around here or from other places that played hockey that could play A league.
Right.
And it's pretty competitive. And but they're not like, I don't know. I would consider them C players from back home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, it's just I have the mentality of protecting my team and protecting my players, and I get carried away sometimes. And I'm sorry.
You would be a fucking nightmare to play against, dude. Just a nightmare.
That's what I mean. I don't know if I played back home.
Yeah.
I'd fight every night, I think.
Yeah. I'd probably quit, dude. I would quit. I would just be. I'd have the Indian flu every time we played your team.
Growing up. Yeah, exactly. And there's guys that played at me growing up that want to fucking say, this motherfucker played OHL, this motherfucker played pro, and they want to fucking compare themselves to me. Even though we're 44 years old, fuck, let's do it. You know what I mean? And I'm sure that would happen if I lived back home in Ontario, in the Windsor area.
Yeah.
Fuck it, I'd be down. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know, I still with the toughest. Yeah,
so
I don't give a shit if I get my ass kicked.
Well, that's the mentality, dude. That's the mentality.
Windsor's a tough town to grow up in. Like it's a tough area, right? Like that city, a lot of tough guys come out of there. Did you find that you got into a lot of altercations outside of the rink in Windsor too, when you were back there?
I've walked out a few strip clubs in Windsor. Been in a few fights, you know, it's normal. You know, especially after playing pro and when I played junior, I was like, shit, I was always getting fights off ice. But the thing is, I've never done well off ice.
Really?
Oh, interesting.
Never. Because these motherfuckers, because you're always going to run into the wrestler. You're going to run into those guys that know submissions and shit like that. And I can go toe-to-toe, but once we're on the ground,
it's over.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm not.
You'll just be
like
frustrated, right?
Exactly. You know, we get on the ground. I'm like, fuck, you're the bigger guy. Fucking tap out. Like, I'm done.
Even back a little bit, like, I mean, MMA kind of exploded in the last 10 years, right? So even before then, there was like you're running into those type of guys in the bar.
Yeah, always. There was someone that always knew submissions. There was somebody that knew wrestling, and I was never taught that. You know, like at 15, I'd go to Border City Boxing Club in Windsor. My next door neighbor, Charlie Stewart, was like middleweight heavyweight champion of Canada, and he coached for the Olympic Canadian team, and had some good you know fighters under him. But I never knew submission. My dad was in karate. My dad was like a 3rd degree black belt, but would never teach me nothing. But he just wanted me to go toe to toe with everybody. And it's like nowadays, you know, you'll end up on the ground with a wrestler and you're fucking getting choked out. Like, you're finished. Come on now.
You know what's so funny? I never I don't think I'm alone here. I remember being in high school and you look at the guys getting into wrestling and you're like, look at these fucking dildos. You know, it must have been the one piece.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, they would fucking strangle you. You know, they would strangle you, dude.
Yeah.
So
fucking put you in the crossface chicken wing and you're fucking tied up.
Yeah.
It's just a
gurgling. Yeah. So you're done your 5th year down there, or your 6th year, and you're like, now what am I going to do?
Yeah.
You know. So how does that transition look?
That was the biggest. That was the biggest, hardest part of quitting hockey was, what do I do now?
Right.
You know, and it's a struggle. I still struggle with, today. And I think a lot of like hockey players struggle with that kind of deal.
Yeah.
And it's
your identity for so long.
Yeah, your identity. You've only been a hockey player all your life.
Dude, what you do. There's so many guys I know that are lifers. You know.
Yeah.
Like even though they work at a job, they're
over this.
Sorry, say that again.
No, a lot of guys get depressed over this kind of stuff.
I bet.
And because they don't know who they are anymore.
Right.
And you get guys like quitting hockey, like they're suicidal.
Yeah.
They have mental problems. They got a
little CTE probably brewing around back there.
All that shit.
Right.
And that's part of like us older guys trying to like let that be known nowadays. You know, we're trying to look out for the younger group, you know what I mean? With the mental health stuff. And you got guys like Rob Frid, Brady Leavely, and and trying to help out with guys with mental issues.
Yeah.
Because who the fuck are we after hockey? We don't know.
Yeah, you got 50 years to fill. You know what I mean?
Do you find
exactly? And a lot of us.
Sorry, do you find that the enforcer? Do you find that the enforcer Facebook group that's kind of like popped up, that's connected a bunch of older players? Do you think that's helped build a bit of a support system for guys to kind of talk with each other?
Enforcer appreciation group.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of the first members of that. My buddy Alec O, he does a podcast too.
Yeah, we love Alec. Fight for Fighting podcast.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Like, you know, and he's brought a lot of us together in this last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we started the group, you know, about a year ago, and there was like 50 of us. And now there's, I think, 11,000 people in this group. Plus.
Wow. Yeah, it's blowing up.
About that group. Up. So there must be
trying, you know, like what you guys are doing, trying to like, we're dinosaurs. A lot of us are dinosaurs. Trevor Gillies, the Marastis, you know, Yablonskis, all these motherfuckers. And you guys are letting us know that we were wanted at one time and still wanted. And you're letting us tell our stories. And that helps, you know what I mean? And yes, it's brought a lot of us together. Like, when was it? Last weekend, I get a call, 3:00 in the morning. I'm like, who the fuck's calling me? I look at my phone, Trevor Gillies.
Nice.
I was like, what the fuck? I've never talked to that motherfucker in my life. And he just wanted to talk to me. He's like, Screwy. Like, man, I'm a big fan. I was like, big fan? I was like, shit, you're the fucking legend, not me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, I've watched you, you know, before I played OHL, and I think you're a fucking legend. I was like, God damn.
That's
cool. Call me madman. Just like, there's all these guys that fought, want to connect, want to get together, want to be a support system. There's a big circle of us. Pat Barton, Pat Barton played OHL for 5 years.
Yep.
And there's guys like that with mental health issues trying to help out the next guy, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a huge thing, you know, because we didn't have that support system, you know, back when we played. And now that we're older, that we're being more vocal about shit, it's a good thing.
I think so.
Because hopefully it helps out the next generations. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. No, that's
so
great.
Let me ask you, does anybody, because like, you know, you say there's 50 of you, but there's 11,000 members. I don't know how many of those members are, you know, had some sort of previous, you know, tough guy, enforcer, semi-pro, pro experience. I would say it can't be more than 500, but you got 10,000 other yo-yos like us. Does anybody ever like chirp a little bit on there? And you're like, listen, you little fucking peckerhead.
Well, there's always, you always got the chirpers, like the keyboard warriors, you know what I mean? Talking shit about guys. But you know what? I'm an admin on that page, and I was like, click. You know
Alex does
you're the commish. You're the commish.
And Alex does a great job, too, of reeling those guys in. He makes a point to say, listen, this is the thing where we celebrate these guys. We're not here for shit talk. Take that to another board. So
cool.
It is a great forum.
And that's actually one of the coolest things I've heard on Facebook, man.
Yeah. And that's what's cool about what you guys are doing. And a lot of like the Fourth Line Boys, he I don't think he's on Facebook, but he's on Instagram, not Instagram, but Twitter.
Twitter, yeah.
Yeah, and what's his name? Darren.
Darren from Fourth Line Voice, great podcast, total beauty.
Fourth Line Voice, Bucket Drop. There's a handful of you guys that are trying to keep the dinosaurs alive and hear the stories and hear what they've done afterwards, and that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing because we grew up watching the type of hockey we loved.
Yeah, and so many people.
Slowly, it's leaving the game, and
the game's turned its back on.
It is what it is.
Not just the players like you, but on the fans like us. The game has turned their back on the people,
and the fans love that shit.
Hell yeah!
And it's
And
embarrassing.
you know what I love, man? Like, sort of, anybody who goes out and makes a living, fucking on the road, lacing them up, getting your fucking face punched out, not knowing who you're going up against. I mean, it's semi-pro hockey players, because you're not doing it to make $1 million. Maybe you make, the dream's there, but then maybe there's a point where you're like, I'm never going to do it, but I'm going to keep doing this. And it's the fucking semi-pro wrestlers, the guys driving 4 hours, and it's for $150, and they're going home, and the next day their back's wrecked. I just love those fucking stories, man. They're just awesome to me. So that's another reason why we do this shit.
Mm-hmm.
No, and I appreciate what you guys do. I've seen a bunch of your podcasts, and I live for that kind of shit. I because I live that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I love hearing other people's stories, and you bring it to to your fans and their fans, and it's a good thing. I think people want to hear about these stories.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
They want to hear about
Dude, I want to do a WPHL movie. That would be great, dude. Just a bunch of people in cowboy hats in the fucking ice rink watching this goddamn game.
Right. The funny thing is, we all wear cowboy boots back home in Canada.
Yeah.
And when I came to Lake Charles, like Fort Worth, I had the pony toes, and I got made fun of so much. I was like, this is what we're in Canada. I was like, God damn. So now I wear square toes, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You got lied.
Fun of wearing these, like, God damn, you fucking chick, fucking wearing pony toes? Cockroach killers?
Oh, so beauty.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But yeah, those were good times. It was.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was part of the WKHL. It wasn't around a long time. I think I'm 16th in penalty minutes all time.
Nice.
That's pretty good.
Nice. There's probably a couple of headshots of you, old headshots, hanging out at some bars in some places in Texas.
There's
Beauty,
no
man.
telling with a tit in my mouth.
Oh shit! All right, man. Well, listen,
you never know.
We burned an hour, man. I love this episode, man. I knew I was going to love talking to you. Is there any like crucial stories? Is there any crucial stories that you left on the table that we got to hear? Like one where like, oh yeah, this time at the back of whatever bar.
Crucial. I got a few, but I don't know if I want to talk about that.
Come on, let it go. Let it out.
Okay.
Change your name in the story so they don't know it's you.
It might make me look gay, but in the end, I wasn't gay.
That's what the kids love these days, a little sexual ambiguity, dude. You're winning them over.
Yeah, it's like, fuck it. Everybody's fucking, we're all trisexual. I'm a fucking dolphin right now. You know what I mean? I identify as a fucking dolphin. But yeah, I don't know why this popped up. I was fucking playing in, I can't remember. I think it was when I was playing in Arkansas. We played in Austin, Texas. And after the game, we went up 6th Street in Austin. I don't know if you've ever been to Austin. Like, it's just a fucking street of fucking, it's like Olet Avenue in Windsor, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bars, back to back to back. And we ended up at a bar with like the Austin Ice Bats. And one of the enforcers with the ice bats, I'm not going to name his name because, I'm a good guy.
Yeah.
And we were both hitting on the same fucking chick. And she was like, if you make out with him, I'll fucking take you home. I was like, like, get over here, big guy. I just laid a big old kiss on him, you know what I mean? And we played him the next night. And we lined up next to each other. And I looked at him, winked. He's like, "Fuck you, Screwy."
That's not gay at all, dude. That's psychological intimidation.
Yeah, that's like, fuck it. You know, you never fucked me all season after that. That's part of minor league hockey, like fucking the little stories, you know, like.
Oh no, yeah, dude, those are the best.
Tell you fucking much more, but
yeah, those are the best. Those are the best.
God damn.
Oh man,
listen, dude. I'm a little punch drunk, so I forget a lot, you know.
Yeah, but I get you.
They come up, every now and then. I remember a few.
Yeah, that's what. Honestly, that's what this podcast was born of. Was just meeting up with buddies and telling old fight stories, and we're like, we got to turn this into a podcast, you know.
And that's the best part about it, you know. You could fight a motherfucker that night and go have beers with them, you know, afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that was a good thing, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That is a cool camaraderie.
Hockey, we're a family, you know. It doesn't matter, especially now. Like I'd never played with guys, but we're all family now. We reconnected, and especially that Enforcer podcast, you know, Enforcer Appreciation page connected a lot of us together.
Cool.
You know,
real awesome.
And just like podcasts like yours, podcasts like my other friends, and we just all connected. And now we have a big circle of friends, and we can just call each other when we're like struggling.
Yeah.
And be there for each other, and we need to be there for each other because we didn't have that network when we played. You know what I mean? Yeah. We were all just fucking balls to walls, cocaine, booze, fucking you name it, kind of addicts. You know, we love the rush of the fucking fighting, but we're fucking madman at the same time.
Dude, yeah. But the rush of the fighting is great, but being a rock star afterwards and cocaine and booze is the reason why I got into comedy.
that cocaine and booze was a bonus. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Cool.
Man, this has been a great episode. We really appreciate you taking the time to be part of it, and we'd love to have you on again. I'm sure there's a million stories that pop up.
Yeah. We want more stories like the end.
I'd be down at, I was kind of honored that, you guys asked me to be on it because I was like, fuck, like been out of the game for 20 years, and people still want to hear my stories. And this last year, I've done like 8 or 9 podcasts, and I was like, God damn, like, I can't believe even people know who I am. Kind of deal.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, if we're ever in Texas, man,
I knew you guys on. I appreciate it. I appreciate
we'd love to hang out.
You guys do and come to Texas.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. When I'm ever there, man,
And I gotta say, shout out to your kid that passed you the beer in the middle. I didn't even see the click. It was just boom, like you're Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't see me.
Watch the hand, not the mouth.
Yeah, right.
Oh shit, Todd, man, thanks so much for coming on, dude.
Right on, Todd St. Louis.
No, I appreciate you guys, and you guys be good, and look forward to seeing more podcasts from you guys.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
Dynamite.
And get rid of that Maple Leafs hat, brother.
All right.
They better win Game 7. I'll be pissed.
Oh yeah.
They blew a 3-1 lead.
Yeah. Oof.
Bullshit.
Oof. All right,
but,
man.
Hey,
talk to you, buddy.
Look at. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, bro.